All of our local area teams are in their respective playoff brackets this week. It's do or die time, and we'll talk about it on the Interity Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Interity Sports Podcast, covering local sports in the Southwest Georgia area, creating content that is factual, positive, and informative, promoting efforts by athletes, coaches, sports administrators, and sports personalities. Thanks for making the Interity Sports Podcast a part of your weekly routine. Now here's your host, Tim Estes.
Welcome into the live edition of the Interity Sports Podcast. We are on site at the Roman Oven Pizzeria. Come by and have supper with us, and we're going to talk high school football, a little reclassification with the Georgia High School Association, as well as some basketball before we end tonight. I'm Tim Estes. I'm joined by my friend Scott Wesbrook, and we got a good bit on the agenda. Before we do that, let me thank our premier sponsor, Harper's Tree and Stump Removal. If you have any tree trimming, tree removal, or stump removal needs, Harper's Tree and Stump Removal has you covered. Give Keith a call at 229-314-2048 or at 229-938-2412. Harper's Tree and Stump Removal is the proud premier sponsor of the Interity Sports Podcast. Scott, Sumter County, Schley County, and Southland Academy all in their respective playoffs this week. We've got Georgia High School has released their region alignments this week and got some basketball. So look forward to a good show tonight.
Yeah, Tim, I think this is probably, in the time we've been doing this, we've got more teams in our general area and our immediate area in the playoffs than we've ever had.
I think so, yeah. Scott, 3,500 people watched our show last week, so this thing's catching on. Want to say hello to Mr. Bill Amos, who's tuning in tonight. Also, Coach Justin Newman from over at Crisp County High has become one of our regular viewers. Want to say hello to him. Scott, let's get started with Schley County. We try to start with them each week. Schley County has a record of 6-4. They were 5-1 in region play, and by virtue of what happened with Macon County and Taylor County, slid into that number one seed for the playoffs. They're going to take on Lanier County. They'll host Lanier County up in Ellaville tomorrow night. And Lanier County's the 4 seed out of Region 2. They come in with a record of 2-8.
We know Lanier County's come from a strong region, but I'm telling you right now, with Schley County has got to be feeling pretty lucky after what happened a couple of weeks ago, and they've got to. I mean, I'm sure they the team, started the night, could ended up third in the region, and just the way it happened, they ended up winning the region. So they've got to feel like Lady Luck's on their side, and hopefully that'll transcend to the field tomorrow night. Lanier County, I mean, if you've got to play anybody out of that region, I guess Lanier County is the one you want to play, but don't take them for granted, because you've got to consider the teams they've had to play all season.
Absolutely. Lanier County comes from a very top-heavy region. You got Clinch, you've got Brooks County, and you got Charlton County in the top 3 spots there. All of those 3 teams could be a contender.
Oh, definitely. I think unless some things really shake loose or surprise me, I think probably the state championship is going to come out of that region.
We talked a little bit last week about Lanier County since Schley was off for a week. Lanier County, when you look at them on paper, not very impressive offensively. They only average a little over 50 yards passing and not quite 60 yards rushing. So offense is definitely not their thing. They've kind of relied on a strong defense. Schley County really came on toward the end of the year. I think Blake Weldon finally got his feet under him at quarterback, and the last 4 or 5 games really performed well. Schley County found their identity offensively. So Schley County should have a good chance to win tomorrow night. The key is they've got to make sure this isn't a trap game.
That's right. I think don't be caught looking to next week or figuring out how the brackets are going to shake loose. If you go in there not giving this team the respect that they deserve, they're going to keep it close and probably surprise you late in the game. So, a team like this that is coming in with 2-8 is, just been really impotent on both sides of the ball. You got to put them away early.
And you don't want to look too far ahead, but Scott, they got a favorable bracket here in the first 2 rounds. Mm-hmm. If Schley County can take care of business, they'll face the winner of Jenkins County, who would be 7-4 if they won. They're 6-4 now, or Wilkinson County, who comes in at 4-5. So a really good bracket if they can take care of business tomorrow night.
And Jenkins and Wilkinson County, the thing about those two teams, they're like some teams in our region that we've joked about in the past. They'll get caught looking to basketball season.
Yeah.
Wilkinson's got that phenomenal basketball facility, and Jenkins County has historically been more of a basketball school than a football school.
Today's show is brought to you in part by Carter's Fried Chicken. They're located at 206 Tripp Street in Americus. Their owner, Mike Shaddles, and his staff, they've been feeding Southwest Georgia for more than 30 years. They offer a daily lunch special that includes baked or fried chicken, 2 vegetables, and man, they've got the best dessert in Southwest Georgia. Go by and see Mike and his staff. Let them feed you. Carter's Fried Chicken is proud to be a 2025 sponsor of the Interity Sports Podcast. Speaking of Mike Shaddles, who is one of the offensive gurus for Southland Academy, let's get into Southland. They actually started the playoffs a week prior to everybody else. So Southland picked up a win last week in that round of the GHSA playoffs. They played Central Fellowship out of the Macon area and came away with a 20-12 win. So Scott, Chance Jones and the Raiders now at 7-4. I think if you would have talked to Chance early in the season, especially after those first 2 games, he would have said 7-4. I'm loving this.
And really in a pretty good position going in the second round. They're picking up a couple of players that have been out for injuries, and that some key players that they're going to have playing tomorrow night. And their opponent has lost some key players. So we'll just have to see how that shakes out.
Well, Southland will be the number 3 seed. They'll go down to Metro Damascus, Georgia, to take on Southwest Georgia Academy. This will be a rematch from October the 24th, where Southwest Georgia came over to Americus and beat Southland 32-21. I told one of my buddies last night who has a son that plays for Southland, you got to key on Williams, the running back. He really killed them while they were here at Southland. And if I'm Coach Chance Jones, my message to that team is going to be somebody else might beat us, but we can't let him beat us.
That's right. And then Southwest Georgia Academy has lost their center. And, a lot of people don't realize how key that center is. I mean, they're the ones that, like the quarterback, they touch the ball on every play. And so, watch for that center quarterback exchange a little bit. Watch for a young, probably inexperienced center in there trying to block for that running back. And hopefully that's something that Southland can exploit.
Southland Academy is in the semifinals. This is the final 4 of Class 2A. The other semifinal matchup features Briarwood and Brentwood. Southwest Georgia comes into this game with Southland favored in the Georgia High School Football Daily Poll. But, Scott, I think if Southland can hem up Williams a little bit, they got a chance in this game.
Definitely. That's it. I mean, I believe they're Southwest Georgia Academy. They're one-dimensional. And if you can sit there, but that's a lofty goal to shut him down. But, we've seen big players come in and playoff games sometimes and have a bad game, and that's exactly what you want him to do.
We are going to predict our 3 local area teams as well as some other area teams toward the end of our show. I want to thank Lance and Jessica Stick over at Custom Auto Sales. They're located at 907 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard in Americus. They've been helping fix your ride for the last 25 years. Now they want to help you buy one. Go by and see the folks at Custom Performance Auto Sales. And they've got new credit situations so they can help folks in any credit situation. You can reach them by calling 924-5558 or you can look them up online at www.customperformanceauto.com. Thanks again to Custom Auto Sales for sponsoring this segment of the Interity Sports Podcast. Sumter County, the Panthers finished the regular season at 9-1. In Class 2A, the playoffs are not done by region. They're done by power ranking, and Sumter County finished as the number 9. And, Scott, I'm telling you, if there's 8 teams better than Sumter County, I just don't believe it.
No, when you sit there and you lose to the defending state championship by 1 point in a game that was played in a slot bucket, then that's pretty. That's taking a pretty hard hit in the polls. But I hope the coaches are taking that and using that underdog and that the way the polls have disrespected Sumter County and using that as a motivating factor.
They'll take on the number 24 seeded team. That's Kip Collegiate. They're out of the metro Atlanta area. You may wonder, who is Kip Collegiate or what is Kip Collegiate? We explained to you last week that Kip Collegiate is a charter type school in the metro Atlanta area. But Scott, when you go down their regular season record, they come in at 5-5. They've had one really impressive win and then some really close losses to good teams.
See, that's what you talk about, like Sumter County. If they're a number 9 team, that's ludicrous. Well, the same can be said for Kip at 24.
Yeah.
When you really break down their schedule and look who they've played and who they've had close losses to, and they got you're going to touch on the Hateville Charter game. I mean, we got to remember earlier in the season, Hateville played Lee County and had them 0-0 halftime. That's a pretty formidable opponent right there.
And then you got Lubbock, who's always a good football team. Mm-hmm. You got Holy Innocents that's in there that's always really good. So a good region that Kip Collegiate is coming from. But, Scott, no matter who the first round opponent was for Sumter County, it's really my belief this team's on a mission. They've got something to prove, and we'll predict that game later. But boy, I wouldn't bet against the Panthers.
No, and they want another shot at Carver. They want, and I want them to, and I want to be able to see it. And I hope it's on neutral ground.
A second round matchup, if the Panthers were to win, would have them traveling most likely north. If the folks that are supposed to win by rating win, they'll either take on North Murray from up in Chatsworth, or they'll travel an hour and a half south down to Cook High in Adel. North Murray is the higher rated team there. As far as the Sumter County game this week, Georgia High School Football Daily has Sumter favored by 36.
And I think that's a pretty strong. If we were doing points, I don't think I would take Sumter County if we were going to do the points in a situation like that.
Yeah.
Because of the team that kept the schedule they've had and how they've played strong teams.
Yeah. We want to thank also our last sponsor, Marty McDonald State Farm Insurance. Marty is located at 925 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Go by and see Marty, Mary Lynn, or any of their staff and let them discuss your insurance needs. They can even do the famous discount double check to ensure that you are receiving all of the savings that are available to you. Give them a call at 928-3686 or look them up on Facebook. Thanks again to Marty McDonald State Farm. And remember, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Scott, there's some other area playoff games, and I want to hit on these kind of briefly, but I think they deserve to be mentioned. All of these teams have had pretty good years. Taylor County going to travel to Brooks County. So 2 weeks ago, we really thought Taylor would be the 1 seed. They fell to the 3 seed, and by that, they get the punishment of having to go to Brooks.
They do, and I think that really took the wind out of Taylor County's sails, so to speak, because really all they had to do was go in Macon County and win a game they were heavily favored to win. And it just didn't shake loose like that, and that's why he played the game. But I hope that the couple of weeks off that Taylor County has decided, look, this is a whole new season. We had a lot to prove this season. We can still prove it. And going down to Brooks County and going down to Quitman and playing in a tough environment and coming out with a win, that right there will raise a lot of eyebrows in the state.
If you look at the power rankings, Georgia High School's Maxwell rating system says that Brooks County should be a 21-point favorite.
Right, yeah, and that's I'm sure that's based on Brooks's history in addition to playing hosting the game.
Macon County, they will host as the number 2 seed, and they'll host Charlton County. Now, Macon is a 2 seed. Charlton County is the 3 seed out of their region. Maxwell rating system has Charlton as a 10-point favorite.
Yeah, and Charlton County has never beaten Macon County.
Right.
And even lost to them in the state championship. And I would have, had I not somebody told me that this week that I trust, I would have taken that bet and lost it, because Charlton County has a pretty storied history in Georgia high school football, but they've got to go all the way to Montezuma from Folkestone, so that's a tough haul. So we'll see how that goes.
Crisp County, we mentioned earlier, Coach Justin Newman, now a viewer of our show. His Crisp County Cougars will host Stevens County, and they've got Crisp as a 3-point favorite. They've really come on strong late.
Crisp has turned it around. I saw a little soundbite this week with Coach Newman's trying to get the fans out there and have a strong showing and Cordele tomorrow night. And I'm hoping they do it regardless of how cold it is or whatever the weather is. Crisp County historically has been able to pack the stand, so I hope that could be the difference in the game tomorrow night.
And I tell you what, we saw Coach Newman's team play in game 1 when they came over to play Sumter County. And while Sumter County picked up the win, that's been their closest game of the year without the Carver loss. So
right.
We know Crisp County's got some talent. They're now under Justin Newman's new system, and it looks like as the system has progressed, Crisp County has gotten better each week. Lee County is going to travel to Sprayberry.
Got to go up to Marietta, Kennesaw, Sprayberry area. That's they got Lee County is favored by 4, and I'm going to be honest with you, I kind of disagree with that. Lee making the travel. They've been like an old John Deere bee. They've kind of been a hit and miss all season. So I hope that Lee County, is able to pull this one out tomorrow night. One thing about it, I saw a graphic earlier today on Lee County and Sprayberry about how many big-time Division I athletes are going to be playing that game tomorrow night. I think you've got at least 4 or 5 on each team.
Yeah, I saw that, a total of 9 Division I commits.
Oh, yeah, and I'm talking Stanford and, big-time schools. So that right there, that's worth the price of admission to go see those guys and say, hey, especially if they end up doing something in college, you can say, I saw that kid play in high school.
Yeah. Scott, we'll come back to those games and hit them quickly on our prediction segment, but I wanted to talk a little bit about the Georgia High School Association's reclassification. We went through that last week, and they gave teams until last Sunday night, to appeal what classification they were in. 30-something of the 40-something that appealed were approved. So just quickly want to remind everybody, there's going to be 7 classifications, 1A through 7A, and there will not be a Class A Division I and a Class A Division II. So no new divisions. They're just kind of renaming them, but they did change the numbers, and I like what they did. I think they finally got it right. Schley County will wind up in Region 6 Class A, and it's pretty much the same ones. There's a few extras, or a few that are not there. But Chattahoochee County, which will be the largest of the Class A schools as far as their numbers go, will be in that region, along with Crawford County, Macon County, Marion County, Schley, of course, and Taylor County. And then you've got some non-football playing schools like Furlough Charter, Rainey McCullers, and Webster County that will all be in that region. But, Scott, we're very familiar with all of those, and I think Schley County, from a football standpoint, has to be very pleased with that.
Most definitely. There's some teams that are in there that'll have had some success in the past and some success now, and some of the schools that you mentioned there that you may not think are doing really well just based on the past 5 or 10 years, but if you really know high school football, there's some programs that you just mentioned that are on the upswing.
Absolutely. Sumter County will be moving from Class 2A up to Class 3A. They will be in Region 1 Class 3A. Now, if you followed Sumter County for the last few years, their region has been Sumter County and all of the Columbus schools except for Northside. it changes a little bit now. Still have Carver of Columbus in Region 1 Class AAA, but Cook High from Adel comes in along with Crisp County. I think Crisp is going to be a lot happier to be in this region. They've been having to travel down to southeast Georgia a lot. Jordan out of Columbus, Kendrick out of Columbus, Sumter County, and then Worth County, moving from AD2 all the way up to Class AAA.
I don't know what exactly caused that to happen with I don't know if there's a big population boom in Sylvester right now, but that is interesting to see that, and I'm glad. I know Sumter is, and all these other schools probably are. Probably the only one that's unhappy there are the Columbus ones, the Kendrick, the Jordan, the Kendrick that they've had it pretty good these past few years, and now they're going to have to drive to Cordele and Adel and take some of these hauls that Sumter County's had to deal with.
Yeah, that trip from Columbus down to Adel, maybe not so much in football, but the midweek games when you're talking about the other sports, that's going to be a haul. Also want to talk a little basketball, let you know that Georgia Southwestern State University's men will open up tomorrow night. They'll be in Hartsville, South Carolina, and they'll play Converse College. The Hurricanes will be under new head coach Kevin O'Connor. We hope to have Kevin on our show after football season's over. When we go back to recording shows, we'll introduce Coach Kevin O'Connor to the Sumter County area. The women for Georgia Southwestern, of course, they're under second-year head coach Missy Tiber. They'll open up on Friday over in Beaufort, South Carolina, where they'll play the University of Virginia Wise. The South Georgia Tech men's basketball team, coached by Chris Belauer, is off to a slow start. They have started playing already. They're 1-4 currently. They play again tomorrow night down in Melbourne, Florida, and their opponent will be Indian River Community College. The South Georgia Tech women under Coach Jason Carpenter, they're currently 2-2, and they play again on the 21st against Eastern Florida. So that's Georgia Southwestern and South Georgia Tech. When you look at high school basketball in our area, Southland Academy is scheduled to start their basketball season on November the 18th. They'll be at Crisp Academy. Sumter County is scheduled to open on the 21st, and they'll host Monroe. Both men and women will host Monroe. And then Schley County opens up on December the 2nd, hosting Brookstone. So, man, it's a fun time of year, Scott, when you've got high school football playoffs going, college basketball at two different colleges here in Americas, and then shortly the high schools starting.
That's it. I tell you, a lot of the we joke about some of the high schoolers during football season will start hearing the basketball bounce, and they'll get distracted on the football field. But and we're in, a lot of the schools, especially the colleges, are already in the deep of the throes of the basketball season.
All right, so it's time to go to our predictions segment, and we're going to start with the games just outside our immediate area. Scott, let's start with Taylor County as they travel to Brooks County. What's your prediction on that one?
I'm going to go with Brooks County for several reasons. One, because of their history. Two, because they're hosting and playing at home. And three, I just don't know how losing a chance at winning the region Taylor County is how that's going to affect them. I just hope that they're able to get it all together. Really, the only way I see Taylor County winning this game is just to play mistake-free football. You're going to have to, because you're going to be in a hostile environment, and you're playing a team who really probably tomorrow night is going to that game expecting to win it.
I think I'm going to agree with you. We've got a large contingent that watches this program from the Taylor County area. We would love to see Taylor County upset Brooks, but when you put the numbers on the paper and look at where it's going to be played, I think it's just smart to pick Brooks County to win. Georgia High School Football Daily has Brooks a 21-point favorite. Not so sure it'll be that big of a spread. Hopefully Taylor County can pull off the upset, but I think Scott and I are both pretty confident that Brooks will come out of that one a winner. Macon County is going to host Charlton County. This is an interesting one. Charlton, by the numbers, is a 10-point favorite.
They are. The Charlton County, like I said, they come from that strong region. They've got to travel They've got to come all the way to Montezuma for that game. Charlton County has never beaten Macon County, but I'm going to have to go with Charlton County on this game. You can, and I'm trying to find it. I can't remember. I want to give Lance's radio station a little pitch in case somebody wanted to listen to it.
WMNZ.
I see. I was trying to look up WMTZ, but it's WMNZ. You can look it up and download an app. I was able to listen to it on the airplane when Macon and Taylor were playing because I was on the airplane and was able to listen to it. So, being able to listen to it on the app and on the internet really makes it. If you want to check the scores, if you're at home and you're jumping around from each game, that the one in Macon County will be on the app.
I think I'm going to go with Macon County in this one. The simple fact that Charlton County has never beaten Macon County, even when they've been heavily favored, and the fact that this one is at the Dog Pound in Macon County, I think Macon County finds a way to squeak that one out. Crisp County going to host Stevens County. That'll be interesting as Stevens comes from Toccoa, Georgia, all the way down the interstate to take on Crisp.
Yeah, some of these North Georgia schools, when they come to South Georgia, they come down here with a chip on their shoulder. We all know that. And Stevens County is one of those schools that most assuredly will have it. I'm going to go with Crisp County on this game, but if Crisp County loses it, I'm going to blame it on their fans for not showing up. I think if the fans will show up for tomorrow night's game, pack the stands, let those kids know they're supporting them, they feel the program is on the uprise, the pendulum has swung, and let them know they bought into it, I think the kids will feed off that.
I'm going to also go with Crisp County as the winner in this one. They've got them by 3. I think that's pretty accurate. North Georgia versus South Georgia, I'm going to go with the toughness of the Crisp County Cougars and hope that Coach Newman's crowd can pull this one off. Lee County travels to Sprayberry. Lee County comes in as a 4-point favorite. Sprayberry comes in at 9-1. This one's going to be a tough one.
It is. Lee County has had their share of distractions this season. They've had good games and bad games. They've had like I said a few minutes ago, they're like old John Deere B. They were hit and miss sometimes.
Yeah.
The flip side of that is it's playoff time, and Lee County has got the playoff experience over Sprayberry. Sprayberry has had some success in basketball the past few years, but not necessarily in football. Say all that to say this, that I'm going to go with Sprayberry in this game because it's in Sprayberry and because even though Lee County seems to step up during the playoffs, I think that Sprayberry is looking to upset Lee County tomorrow night.
This is where I think I'm going to come back and tie you on our prediction because I'm going to go with Lee County. I think Lee County's experience in the playoffs and their toughness in football will help them get over the hump and beat 9-1 Sprayberry. So Scott has Sprayberry. I have Lee County. That gets us to our 3 local area teams. Let's start with Schley County. They are 6-4 and the region champs. They take on 4th-seeded Lanier County. Schley's a 9-point favorite.
Yeah, I think they'll beat them by 9 points. I think they're going to beat Lanier County. I think Schley County, they're you always want to peak at the end of the season. It doesn't matter what happened in weeks 1 through 5 right now. It's 5 through the end of the season. You look at that, and if all of a sudden the team starts to strive and do well and get strong, then we've seen teams that start off 0-4 and win state championships, 0-3. So it's not unusual to see a team, and I think Schley County's on the upswing right now.
I'm also going to go with Schley County. I think it'll be between 7 and 14 points will be the spread. Schley's at home. The one negative to Schley, Scott, they haven't played in 3 weeks. So it may take them a full half of football to kind of get back in the swing of things. But I think Schley County finds a way to win it. Southland Academy at 7-4, ranked number 3 in the GIAA Class AA, will take on 2nd-seeded Southwest Georgia Academy, who comes in at 8-3. I'll go first in this one, and I think Southland Academy will find a way at the end to lose this football game. I think Southwest Georgia being at home gives them the edge. It's not going to be 32-21 like it was here. I think Southland plays a much better football game, but the fact that Southwest Georgia is at home, they find a way to win it.
And I'm going to disagree with you on that one. I'm going to go with Southland. I made a few phone calls this week, and what concerns me about Southwest Georgia Academy is the fact they've lost their center. That's a much more of a key player than most people think. That is going to make it more difficult for the running back to run up the middle. If we can just unless they've got some center, or unless they have some depth that most GIA schools at this level do not have, I'm going to be interested to see how that affects them. Now, you may see them running a lot more sweeps and running, not necessarily running straight up the middle as much because of that. So hopefully, Southland can adjust and shut them down to that. And I think if it comes down to a tight scoring game at the end, that wing T can wear you down. And so I'm there's several reasons I'm going with Southland, and I'm hoping that they make me look good this week.
And I hope that your intel comes to fruition and Southland does get the win. Sumter County at 9-1 hosting Kip Collegiate, who comes in at 5-5. Sumter County, the Panthers are a 36-point favorite in this game. I think Will Rogers and his staff and those kids want to get back to the finals. They want to play Carver of Columbus, and I think this one's going to be a blowout.
I think it's going to this one of all the games we've mentioned so far. I think this one has the danger of being the trap game. I think that Sumter County may look at this 5-5 record, charter school, all the things that they can sit there and get some confidence over, and not actually peel the onion back and see what Kip Collegiate has actually done on the football field this year, and realize this is not a cakewalk. This is not some Mickey Mouse opponent. This is a legit opponent that you got in the first round. Yes, Sumter County should not be. They should be ranked much higher than 9, but Kip Collegiate should be ranked much higher than 24.
Yeah. Panther fans, don't wait until the first quarter to get there. Get there early. They've brought in more bleachers that are put in the end zone right now, expecting a big crowd. So we look for Panther Nation to get out and support the Panthers this week. Hopefully they can come away with a first-round playoff win.
I'm calling Sumter County as the winner on that one. I don't know if I've made that clear or not.
Absolutely.
I want to make sure. Okay, good. All right.
Scott, any final thoughts before we sign off tonight?
Just, I'm hoping that ESPN and Disney and YouTube can get together. And, I'm tired of having to rely on some jackleg service to again, I'm not going to give in to Disney, and I'm going to tough it out with YouTube.
That's right. We're buying the weekend pass right now.
Oh, no.
On another network. So hopefully they'll get that worked out really soon. Tell us about Carson.
He's doing great. He actually had his end of the year evaluation with Coach Prime and his position coach and his assistant position coach. And he said, Dad, it couldn't have gone any better unless they'd give me a big old sack of money. He said it went really well. So even though he's injured and recovering from that, I think he's got a lot of optimism for next season, and he's eager to get out there and get going again.
And we want to say hello to all of the Colorado Buffaloes who are watching today via YouTube, and we're pulling for you. We want to thank you for making the Interity Sports Podcast a part of your weekly routine. Please go to our YouTube page and hit the subscribe button. We've had a lot of folks do that recently. We still need to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. So whatever platform you're watching on this today, when you get finished, log on to our YouTube page and hit the subscribe button for us. No matter what platform you are watching on, hit the like button and share this video. As I said, we had more than 3,500 views last week. So our program is growing. We're trying to be factual and positive and highlight the good things that are going on here in our local area in terms of sports. Thanks again to our friends at Harper's Tree and Stump Removal, to Carter's Fried Chicken, to Custom Auto Sales, and to Marty McDonald State Farm Insurance. Thanks to Anthony Dragoin and our friends here at the Roman Oven Pizzeria. We hope you'll join us next week. For my friend, Scott Wesbrook, I'm Tim Estes. Thanks for watching. So long, everybody.